Hi everybody, I'm Vanessa Ina from the Quantum Frequency Initiative, and today I'm going to be talking to Shan and Cheriee.
Hi!
So mostly what I like to ask in these situations is really talking about how it is that you guys do the work that you do as far as elevating frequency and connecting in with spirit and assisting others in this kind of service work that we do. To try and share with people what it is that the vast range of things that people can do to connect in with spirit themselves, or to understand maybe what it is that spiritual people do in their work.
So like how to fit the last 12 years into 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got you. Right.
So
I can do that.
So what you're saying then is it's been a journey for you. You've had to develop these skills that you do because, okay, just for example, to start off, we've just before this had a moment where I came to these beautiful women and asked them to assist me with getting to the bottom of some of the things that I'm going through in order to advance, expand myself, to freedom myself from past conditioning or things that are holding me back from expanding and being more of me without the distortion. So we assist each other all the time with this. We're very lucky to have each other, or blessed, I should say. And so that was a really beautiful thing where these guys tapped into talking with spirit guides or connected in with me. Can you tell me how you actually do that? How does that come about? How did you experience that as far as assisting me with finding that clarity and getting to the bottom of what we needed to get to move that?
I guess I'm just going to talk for me because that would probably
be
be a nice thing
great.
to do. Okay, so I'll talk
so
for
it's slightly different for both of us, but we kind of end up at the same position.
Okay.
So we started this journey together. Let's go 12 years ago, probably. Actually, that's accurate. 12 years ago. And
Jesus,
I know. And one of the big things that came through, concentrate, Cheriee,
Sorry.
stop laughing at me, was that it was kind of like we started playing the game of intuitive cards. So we wrote down a whole heap of different situations and we would hold the piece of paper and read them. And so that's probably where we started it. But the information that came through, it's like bypassing your consciousness and getting how you actually feel about all these different situations, which was really addictive. And I was like, what does it mean for this? And what does it mean for that? And so the beauty we found was having someone to do it with meant that they could write down God knows whatever you've been bitching about last week and whatever you said you didn't know how to handle, and they just write down all these different things and then you read them. And so in the very, very beginning, it was kind of like, I don't know, I remember we were looking up and it felt good, or we were looking down, or we were kind of getting visuals in the beginning. It was a bit vague. And then as we started getting better at it, we'd look at it from other people's perspective. So we could say, from mine, it looks like shit. From yours, you love it. But from me, I really like it.
And we started with emotions. Like we put down joy on here and what that would actually, joy, anger, frustration, like those type of things. Yeah, it made it so it was connective, which made it more interesting because you got more out of it. So that was the biggest thing of how we started. But it kind of sort of started as a drinking game. Because a big thing that we make sure that we bring into what we do is joy. Because if we don't have joy, then what's the point? So that's what we kind of bounce off each other. And when we do, I don't know, readings, or we help people, or whatever it is that we're doing, if we don't have that element of fun, then it's hard, it's heavy, it's it doesn't. There's no fun in that space because you're coming at this with light, with joy, and so you are wanting to either move through or get to the other side of it. And so the only way to really do that is with love. It's with love. It's not with a fear-based emotion. It's with a love emotion. So looking at this in the best possible way forward, bouncing off each other, having some laughter, and coffee or chocolate bickies, whatever brings that little bit of a joy into your space. It helps. It helps, and it brings different perspectives then. So when we were, for example, helping you, Shan was able to look at, really into your space. But then I was able to bring in more like that ancestral space. And it was like the two parts that we both do are so crucial to having like a, I don't know, we work together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. And it's like we both
and it puts the puzzle together for those you help.
It does. It really does. So
But I have to say, it was practice that got us to, like it was something that was fun. So therefore we did it lots, and because we did it lots, we got better at it. So I would like to say, although I think we're all born intuitively, this isn't to me a gift I was born with. This is something that I just, it's a tool that you work at, or you know what I mean, that you
cultivate it.
Yeah. And so we found that originally it was pieces of paper, but by the end of it you could just kind of clue in. And so we followed, for me, I follow frequencies. So there's so many different frequencies that we can follow that I find I have to ask, am I looking this from your soul? Am I looking this from your guides, from your ancestor? Am I looking at energy around you? Am I looking at you with an energy? So it's just reading different frequencies.
But you're right, we did have to, at the beginning, we did have to work at it. We had to make sure we were grounded and cleared from other people's perspectives, and we were really much, but it was very much, a step-by-step thing when we first began. But then the more that we did it, the more we integrated that, the more that we helped others. It just sort of evolved into our own little personalities and our own little ways.
You discovered your techniques.
So Cheriee's really good. I'm going to talk to you now because I can't. Cheriee's really good at going. She's picking up things in the peripheral, and so she'll turn around and go, "Oh, your ancestors are wanting to say something here, or your guides are wanting to say something here." So you're very good at peripheral picking up things. And I find that I got to the stage where I'm closing it off because I'm getting too much information. So unless you tell me that you want me to look at it, I'm not going to look at it, because for me personally, that's what's worked for me. But
but you did really narrow down on the specifics within my body as well. Like, so being able to say, I'm feeling or I'm seeing a connection or a cord attached or something that's generationally linked, and then you brought in that generational part as well. And then being able to have you come and just as soon as you came and put because I could feel this particular attachment to me that did seem to go a long way back. Yeah. And then when you came and you put your hands there, it was just instant. It was almost like just the recognition of it, the awareness of it, the experience of knowing it was there, and then holding space for it to just allow stuff to flow through. It just all came through and came out. Yeah. So I was very emotional for a moment, and it became all of this deep sort of older stuff that just sort of my practice in cultivating trusting myself too is just to allow that stuff when it happens. So when my body starts feeling and moving things, it is a practice to kind of allow it to happen and recognize it and just let it do its thing. Do you agree with that?
No, definitely. And I guess that we've learnt with intuition, with bringing through information, you can't question it. You can't doubt it. You just kind of have to believe that whatever you're saying needs to be said for whatever reason, and kind of allow it. And there's some gorgeous moments, I think both of us do this, where we're like, okay, I'm going to verbalize, and I'm not actually filtering this. Fuck, I hope that nothing silly comes out. Because we're literally saying it as it's coming through, and we hear it for the first time as the words come out of our mouth. And you're kind of like, I'm really sorry, that's just what came through. Please love me.
Hope it doesn't offend.
I hope this doesn't hit or cut too deep, but this is just, 100%.
No, I fully get that, because actually the more I've developed in, especially working with Diane and some of the stuff that comes out of us with light language and some of the sounds, originally there was this full feeling like, I don't know what's going to come out of me now. I don't know what body movements I'm going to do, and I'm going to look weird. It might sound like crazy, and it might sound like I'm off my head on drugs or something, but I've just got to let this out and trust that this is how it's supposed to go.
It's control, because we're beautiful beings that we love to have that element of control. And so there's a part of me, and I know I don't speak for everyone, but I know it's a thing for a lot of people. Control. We want to control what's coming through. We want to control what we're seeing or we're feeling. We don't want to be judged. There's a lot of fear in that space as well. But I know the more that you do just let it flow.
Trust.
And trust. Stop it. Shh.
Surrender.
It's a tip word. Trust. It is a lot easier. And then clearer messages come through for whoever you're either helping or for yourself. Because that's the hardest part, is working on yourself. Working on other people are easy, but when you start turning that inwards, it's like,
and that's a constant process.
It's an evolving thing.
And I guess that's one of the things we both help with, is we have our workshops that we offer with a range of different people, and most of it is helping them realize that they are beautiful intuitive beings that are learning to trust what's coming through for them, that they have a space where they can learn to hear it, see it, recognize it, and see how much wisdom they hold. And that is one of the core journeys. I think that beautiful moment that I've seen so many times where they kind of go, like with the intuitive cards where we get people to write things down, we purposefully get them to write it down so they don't have to share in the beginning, because it's nerve-wracking to kind of feel like I have to show to a group of people that I can do this, or you know what I mean, like that level of worth and value gets caught in that sphere of am I good enough. So we've got so we have to do a lot of different things to try and help people see just how beautiful, wise, intuitive they are, and there's a range of tools that we use to cultivate that for them, to help them cleanse their space, cleanse their home space, cleanse their energy space, change their belief sets, manifest what they desire, all those cool things.
But I love seeing that light bulb when they finally realize, oh my God, I can do this. I don't need to rely on someone else, that I actually have this within. That's what I love seeing. I love that little light bulb that you just and the eyes that light up and you're like, oh my God, like, and you can just see the world of possibilities opening up when they start to realize that they have an intuitive ability, that they can use this to, like, I will never forget, there was one lady we were helping and she was trying to choose a school for her child, and she was, there was an issue at the current school, and she had a choice of 2 schools, and we got her to write down the 2 schools on a piece of paper, and one was so heavy and horrible, the other one was so light, and having that distinctive feeling between the two just by bringing it to your heart space.
And 2 pieces of paper. Like really, we keep forgetting that all these different things hold energy, and we can get a wealth of knowledge out of a piece of paper.
Well, the knowledge is really in her, isn't it?
It is. But she was able to go, oh, this is so soul-led, this feels so beautiful. And you could see the relief on this poor woman's face, because it's obviously a huge decision for them. And it was so beautiful for her to go, oh my God, it was that easy. It was that easy to connect in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that's what I love that.
I can actually say that it was it's part of my awakening. This is something I wanted to bring up too, about spiritual people, healers actually helping each other, because we were just talking about this before as well. And like helping each other remember things, because we've all got different gifts and we've all got different skills, that as we remember ourselves more, we're able to help each other with those remembrances and help others remember their divinity and their gifts as well. And so that whole thing that you guys, I did a similar thing with Shan with the paper and the questions and stuff. And it was one of the first things a couple of years ago that really helped me going back into reading my own body and feeling my own movement within my body and where I was feeling things. And so that's been an absolute gift to me since. And doing what you guys did and just continuing to practice that, cultivating that in me, has made me now where I can sometimes I can just even look at something and I can feel, and I'm acknowledging where a feeling is or how it's feeling, and does it feel contracted or does it feel expansive, or does it make me feel like I can't breathe properly, or am I feeling like
it's those beautiful little questions,
an open pathway.
Exactly. And it can make all the difference. Is this light? Is it heavy? Do I want it away from? Do I want it close? Is it open? You know what I mean?
Just trusting that infinite wisdom, divine wisdom within our body, within ourselves, and being able to remember that space. And so thank you for that, because that actually helped me.
I love hearing those stories.
And I love how working together, like we were just talking before about being able to share things and co-create together and support each other and stuff. And
I'm going to throw this in up level. Like, I find that we have a beautiful network of women that we work with, and as I find one of us, and it can be any one of us, up levels, I find the rest of us, and I know for me personally, I sit there going, fuck, there's my shit now. Now that you've up leveled, I can see mine really clearly, and so I feel like we're all kind of helping each other lift up along the journey. So it's beautiful to have, I guess, all of us on it together, and we've got people to reach out to and connect with, and even be able to blah 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 blah, here's my shit, please help me work out what's going on,
and discover that clarity and find that freedom within ourselves, supporting each other in that space. And I guess this comes back to frequency, because it really is part of the whole point of this podcast, and what it is that my mission on earth here is actually, and I think we're all part of this really, is this elevating frequency, and that understanding that everything actually exists as frequency. We are frequency beings, and so when we upshift, elevate ourselves, when we clear out distortion within ourselves so we can align with our true state, so that we can then live in a more higher vibrational space. We affect the vibration of those around us, and we do this with each other. So that's why when we upshift it, don't only reveal some of the distortions we haven't moved, but it helps us be able to move those and to be able to clear them and elevate ourselves. And then through that, we're doing that in humanity, we're doing that everywhere we go, we're doing that within the entire construct of our reality, and that's how we're creating a new world, really, just by doing this inside. And it's vibrating.
Definitely. Because at a previous workplace, I remember all I did was bring in like a little diffuser thing, but it was like the salt rocks, and I just put some essential oils over it, and just doing that little shift, and it had like peppermint or lemon. It was just basic, but it was enough just to elevate that little bit of that space at work, where people came in and just, you felt them take a big deep breath and went, oh, and their crap was left at the door. You know what I mean? Like it was just little things that can just bring, but only by working, that I found that working within here, it was like, oh, I'm allowed to do those things. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I can, it's just the door's open. And so just little things like that can just, elevate.
I do love that. I do love that.
And it gives each other permission to, like, every time someone's brave enough to be vulnerable or to find their own little vulnerability superpower or their little gift, it helps others be able to go, I can do that too.
Here's my shit. That was a really beautiful gift I learnt in one of the constellations we did, where we were originally saying, as a healer, our job is to leave our shit at the table and deal with whoever's issues that we're dealing with at the moment. And it's sort of, this information came through really beautifully, where it was like, no, I have to give myself permission to have all my shit be in the room, so that the person I'm helping has permission to have all their shit in the room, so we can actually deal with all of the things that are in our system, rather than only portions are allowed to be here. So that was really beautiful.
Awesome. That's great. And that's another thing, Family Constellations, because I know there's lots of things these guys do. The thing that just happened before we decided to record this was very much sitting with these guys as in an experiential way, just to explain how I experienced it. Was sitting with these guys, they asked me about my intention in what I was seeking, the clarity I was looking for, and just by feeding back and forth through what they were receiving, connected in with me and my guides and stuff, we were able to get to that clarity and find that, pinpoint that thing, and then be able to shift it and move it. But with Family Constellations, it's a whole different thing. Shan does this a lot, and we all participate as different parts of it, and we all get so much out of it. I've got to say, not just the person she's doing it for, but everybody in it. But would you want to share a little bit about what that is, or how that?
It's funny. The constellations, I feel like once you've experienced one, you go, now I get it, because it is a complicated thing to explain. But I guess the big thing about Family Constellations is actually to help you understand group dynamics. So it's beautiful to work, like the reason they say constellations is that we have many components in a family. It's a German therapy that was sort of put together, especially after World War II. But it sort of works on the basis that although we think everything is about us, because that's, I think, as human nature, we feel like the reason things are happening is because of us. When we can finally understand the group dynamic and what's playing out with, war, deaths, births that have gone wrong, all those kind of traumatic things that happen, we realise that this is just people dealing with things the best that they can, and that it's not really our stuff, or it's not serving any purpose. So what we do is the whole goal is to get you back to a place where you just get to be you. And you just get to be you, and I just get to be me. But just get to that point where the dynamics of the trauma that has affected your family doesn't have to be your story anymore. And you can find that in love, you can find that in relationships, you can find that with money. Like, we can find there's so many ripples in the way that constellations or family can affect our viewpoint of things. But to get us, I guess, to be whole, that's one of the journeys we have to take, is clear our ancestral lineage, our generational lineage.
So important.
Which has a follow-on effect to the generations ahead of us as well. The more we heal ourselves and heal what's behind, and that heals ahead as well. And also, I just want to say here, we have used Family Constellations before for even sort of more of the kind of bigger social conditioning kind of things, like the role of women, or the role of mother, or the role of we did Maiden Mother Chrome once. That was really insightful, and that led into the masculine inputs into those as well. If you remember, it was really a very powerful experience for everybody, and very awakening, like, to us all about the different roles everybody plays and how that can influence us in our own life. And we think it's us, but it's maybe just some program or pattern or belief system that's come through in the whole thing of just being female or being male, or what society says is the go,
Well, one of the things we saw in that particular constellation was how the mother took the role of peacemaker. And I was kind of like, shit, how often do I do that? Where it's like, how do we make sure this person, all these people are unhappy, I've just got to make sure that they're happy, and then my role is done. And we were like, oh, hello, you. And then I think there was one where we said we didn't want our daughter or the maiden to betray herself. We wanted her to remain true to herself. And she was kind of like, I don't mind betraying myself. I'm happy to. What happens if I betray myself? I'd like to learn. Maybe I'll just. Yeah, I just want to. And it was like, well, that's how we learn. Is we go as the younger part of ourselves. We rebel against everything to work out where our line is. And that's a part of the journey. But it was like understanding that all of us go through that journey in some form or another. That that we're meant to, I guess, push past our limits to then go, I like that one. That was a good one, and I'm keeping that one. They can fuck themselves.
And that was actually really interesting because it did bring in, even though we originally did that to look at the feminine roles, we did end up, it brought in the masculine roles because they became prominent with understanding some of the dynamics that were happening within the feminine roles and that interplay between them. Hey,
definitely.
So there was a lot of that protective father thing too about the daughter wanting to go and experience and
he's
live
like,
her own life,
don't.
and he's like, no, because he had all these things on him as well. Remember, it even came up about young men, the young males, feeling like they had to be this like prowessy, testosterone driven, I've conquered heaps of women, when actually they hadn't, and it was this big pressure on them, and they were like, I don't want to do all of this, I just want to find my one person too. And there was all of this dynamics that came in. And so to give a bit of explanation, it's like everybody sort of plays a role and gets assigned a role, and there's I suppose it's a ritualistic process in a way to really ensure that the field is clear and people are intuitively reading the quantum field or the morphogenic field or whatever to find to come through what it is they're receiving as that role that they're playing. So it's super cool. And
it is really cool.
Very insightful, and you can do it on a personal level or on these bigger picture levels, which speaking on this, I just want to bring up at this upcoming retreat me and Shan and Fiona are doing, where we're talking about feminine freedom and really freeing the feminine from a lot of this conditioning that is inherent in not just motherhood but in just being a woman and our roles in society that comes generational, ancestral, as well as personal. So we're kind of hitting it on a few fronts. So I will be working with the internal programming within the body and the nervous system through what I do with flow and breath, quantum flow and breath, and then Shan will be doing constellations around this freeing ancestral and generational lines as well. And Fiona's a shaman, so she's doing shamanic work and journeying with people about sort of clearing the social conditioning roles as well. So so it's sort of hitting it on those kind of three different aspects, and whatever else of course comes through from whoever comes, because everything's all freedom and flow when you do these things, and we quite never know what's actually going to come, dependent, because everybody brings their energy and their frequency and their
intention of what they want to achieve from the weekends. I find that we use everyone's intentions and then we build it from there, because there can be some areas where everyone's like, that whole inner child thing I've got sorted, but this whole maiden mother crone thing I'm broken, I don't understand. So we work with the energy that we're given. But I do want to highlight this because I thought it was so relevant, because originally the feminine lineage, there can be obviously shame and there's a lot of, I guess, heavy feelings or hard things. But I think when we re-looked at putting this retreat together and reworking it, one of the really important things is it's supposed to be an uplifting weekend, and we don't have to go through the pain, we don't have to go through the shit to up level and to release ourselves from the past. That there's ways that we can do this where it can be a beautiful up leveling experience, and there's a lot of joy in that space, because I feel like that's where we can actually grow, is like what you talk about here, where we're up leveling the frequency. That's the work that we're here to do.
And healing through joy. And I really think this new energy that's happening, the new frequency that we're all moving through and we're all contributing to and building into this new way of being is really about learning through joy and learning through love and connection and co-creation and harmony, not learning through suffering and pain and struggling on my own and all of that stuff like we used to think it was. I think that's all part of the old paradigm that's no longer relevant.
It's a sense of community that you're able to support each other and build each other up, and that's what's super important, because I feel, you know, in today's society we're all very busy and anxiety and driven and trying to achieve and ticking boxes and meeting goals and stuff, but we kind of forget sometimes it's okay to take a breath and then connect in to someone and know that, you know, you're able to grow and heal and know your worth and support and then connect and then uplift each other together. And I think that sense of community is really important.
And an allowance too, like allowing ourselves to be who we are. And each other allowing each other to be who we are. Even if it's like something that you think, oh, this is, I'm a bit wacky, or they're going to judge me or whatever, like just F off all the judgment. Like, allow myself to be who I am and know that I'm going to be loved and accepted for that because I love and accept me for it. And then in a space together when we're doing this healing work, like at these kind of retreats, it's like, it's not about trying to be some big tough superwoman. We were talking about this too. It's really about clearing away the distortion to rediscover who I am. And me and my vulnerability and me and my complete craziness or whatever it is that I am is okay, and is more than okay actually, is amazing and wonderful and divinity in its form. So like, you know, it's that kind of,
we don't have to have our shit organised to be enough. We we can be our half selves as we're going through this life, and who we are today is of value and of importance and of worth, and is allowed to be her co-creating self as we move through this work.
So I'm really excited about it.
I know.
So I'll put the links below about it. It's at the end of May, and it's the Feminine Freedom Retreat. It's going to be awesome. So it's a weekend at beautiful Stanthorpe on the granite belt with all this gorgeous granite and crystals in the granite that really helps with the frequency as well, I think.
No, that's awesome.
And wanted to move on because we have got a wonderful picnic.
I know. Our life is
a birthday
tough.
Picnic without bears and picnic. Shan also has some books here that she's written, and you guys have done some of these together, co-created these books. I wanted to share some of them with you too, in case you wanted to. So I just brought out, these are a couple of the books that we've got, and the little intuitive cards. So we've got, I think we've got 5 decks of intuitive cards, 4 decks of intuitive cards now. So they're a great little tool to help you connect into your intuition, and we use them with our workshops that you do through, we do through trustyoursoul.com.au is where we do all of them. And then some of our books are just about rituals for connecting to your soul, which is really gorgeous. That's Cheriee and I and it's actually got stuff like you can use as workbooks you can use in writing.
I know,
it's very practical. It's a practical way to do it, so you can write
pretty.
It's very pretty.
And you guys came up with these things by just trusting your own guidance that you needed to work.
This is what we needed.
Yeah.
We're like, I need this. Fuck it, we're gonna make it.
So then there's the Magical Manifesting Journal for Soul-Led Adventures.
Yep.
So there's all these, they've got heaps of these beautiful books, and they're just gorgeous. And they can be really helpful tools in helping you on your path to discovering yourself or rediscovering and remembering yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finding the tools to be able to like practice your own way of connecting in so that you can then be somebody. I mean, we're all got beautiful healing abilities. Might be sitting here on the podcast in a year's time going, this is what I do to help people because I helped myself in this way and this is how I grew.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
12-month magical manifesting guide for your dream life.
Yeah.
Do I need this one actually?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, that one. Yeah. And then that one's got 60 different activities to connect into your intuition. Intuitive adventure.
That's so cool. Yeah. And so people I find always ask me, they'll say, how come you're so calm? How come you're so connected? How come you're so da-da-da? Like as if it's just a one-off event that happened. Mm-mm. And I think the important thing I kind of like to let people know is it's a constant choice. Yeah. So pretty much almost I'd like to see in every now it probably is looking at free now actually. But there are every opportunity, every moment, everything that happens in life when there's a decision, when there's something that comes up, it's a choice in every one of those nows to connect in, to live that soul aligned self. It's not like something you just make a decision once and lightning strikes you and you have a big Kundalini awakening and then boom, you're just like, whoa man, check me out. I'm like doing all this cool supernatural stuff and I'm like, it just doesn't
and everything flows.
Yeah, and the books are just magically written.
Yes. And they just land and my life is perfect and you should join me here. Wouldn't that be lovely?
So you guys worked on these and you came up and I just want to have a quick look at what these are.
Yeah.
I say intuitive cards.
Yeah.
So it's basically what we were saying before. So each one has something written on them. Like for example, happiness, your aura, and there's a whole heap of different ones, your home, and then basically is you choose out the ones that you kind of want, and then when you have the one that you want, next, you hold it without knowing what's on there. So you choose like 3 or 4 of them, and then the one that and you just sort of hold it and then you read it.
And we have a list of questions for you to go through to kind of write down what's coming through. And we learned by default you need to do at least 2 at a time, because then you can kind of see the difference between one and the other. And you realise that you are intuitive, just like that.
Wow.
But it's kind of cool having no idea what's on the card or little idea what's on the card in the beginning, because our brain is great at going, it's either your aura or your home. Right, so this feels like it's my home.
Yeah.
So
that's why I said 3 or 4 cards.
Yeah.
Can't tell. No.
And we have found, I'm throwing this into the mix super quickly, we have found like there is a difference between, say, my husband to my husband's name, which is, say, Sean, to the father of my children. If I read all 3 of them, they will all have different information.
Because of the different roles that have
different
roles,
you
perceive
or your
feel
meanings
him in
to those words.
Yep. And then if we put me and money, and then we put money, they have 2 different energies. So so you can have a lot of fun with the words. So we've tried to very specifically choose words that are personal, that connect you into it, and they kind of give you a bit of a guidance into where things are awry or where things are going well. And sometimes and the lies that we're telling ourselves. I think that's probably 90% of it. Yeah.
And can I just say too, can you tell me then, because I know that you do this kind of stuff, like you can get these cards from you guys, I'm imagining, on your website. But also you do these sessions regularly, Trust Your Soul sessions that have different focuses. So tell us a little bit about those, because these are the things where if you can get these cards, and if you don't really know what you're doing, you can feel it out, and you can figure it out. Trust yourself, you can figure it out. But it's good to get a little bit of insight, and if you go on these online calls, I've been on some of these guys on Zoom, and it's so insightful, because I think that's that collective energy as well. When you guys are there guiding it and directing and asking certain questions, and then everybody's contributing and adding how they're feeling, what's coming up for them, it helps everybody get something more out of that, like amplifies the energy.
Again, it's that sense of community. So we're all here, you have your intention for the workshop, and we're all there trying to support each other. And so that collective energy, even though sometimes, I'm in Brisbane, Shannon's here in Stanthorpe, someone's in Warwick, someone's in North Queensland, it doesn't really matter where we are, because it's the energy is energy. But we're all there trying to come together for that collective intention. And it's beautiful to watch people grow and connect in, and then go, oh my gosh, yes, there is this barrier, or I have this, or, you know what I mean? They're able to self-identify. And that's when you start seeing that empowerment, that strength, that trust that starts to come through, that they're trusting their ability or connecting in, and it's beautiful to watch. And so I think, like you said before, our workshops, we've tried to make it so that we're looking at physical places, not just your home, your work, your car, getting that into alignment, your physical body and your different energy systems, and we've tried to look at every single element of your life and just try to get it into alignment.
Yeah.
Get it into where it is that you're wanting it to be, where, you know, it could be, you know, promoting love, it could be promoting abundance, depending on where you're at. It's just,
clarity or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And actually what I love about you guys' sessions too is it's not just you guys sitting there as like these gurus that are doing these readings
Oh,
for
no,
other
no,
people.
no. Yeah, no.
It's
We
really,
get our shit in that space.
yeah,
too.
like you're empowering others. You're always doing everything that you do is always empowering others to find that within themselves and to encourage that and nurture that within themselves, and that's what I really love about it.
Well, when we design the workshops, we go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we looked at abundance in our house? Oh yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right, we'll do that as a group. And then, oh, what if we brought in archetypes and we looked at our energy and we looked at, what was it, the magician, which is about manifesting, and the saboteur, which is about not, it's like not listening to yourself. It's sort of like, where am I? Feeling like I have to do rather than trust that things are in alignment.
The big one for me was the people pleaser.
Oh yeah, we
The
did
people pleaser. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are just questions we're asking, and we're like, well, we would do this anyway. Granted, we've been doing this for I don't know however many years, so we're like, just join us while we ask ourselves these questions.
Yeah.
And you can ask, and you can ask, and you can ask, and we're just gonna ask collectively what comes through with this kind of information. And so I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that I don't have the freaking answers. Neither of us have the answers. We're just here asking really cool questions. That's what I love.
But you're helping people realize that the answers are all within ourselves. And I have to say though, they have to give you a little bit of credit right here, because the stuff that you have cultivated in yourself from those 12 years from your playful, joyful moments do give so much insight for others, because you know, I mean, for example, I have a lot of experience in myself in parents in going inwards and finding answers in myself. I have all these different techniques I've developed. I have my own connections with my guides, my spirits, my higher self. But there's still times where I'm like feeling very like, and so I can come to you guys and know that the skills and the knowledge you've cultivated in all these years can really assist me in getting clarity. So like when you're on these calls and we're in the Zoom sessions and everybody's feeling intuiting and reading, there's still this beautiful gift that you guys have of going, well, hang on a minute, Shan with the heart.
She's doing it right now.
Hand on the heart, is there anything more that I need to bring into this? Is there something that's like, and then just like gets these messages and then comes forth with really insightful stuff. And you with the, I'm getting this, that your guides are saying this, and da-da-da, and like that stuff really does, it's magic. It's magic in motion. So
it is. And I remember conversations that you and I have had where we looked at, so vibrational kinesiology wise, looked at different, like your boundaries. Looking at auric fields, and I think we were looking at you in your house, and then it was like, I'm not just talking to Ness, I was also speaking back to myself, because it's like, you know, sometimes it's like, listen to this information that's coming through, Cheriee, it's not just for Ness. And you're like, okay, cool, sweet. So it's learning as I'm, you know, as you're helping someone, you always get that beautiful sense of this is also for you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you're learning as you're helping and you're growing together. And again, it comes back to that beautiful community. I don't know. It's amazing. I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
It is pretty cool. And I just love that this is our day-to-day life.
Yes.
This is the land we live in, where we kind of go, is that really your boss's shit or is that yours? Fuck, that's fine.
Middle finger emoji. Sticks up very often.
yeah, there's no just sitting around in groups and whinging and bitching and you might have a vent, but you're very abruptly going to be confronted with taking your own accountability and responsibility for where that lies and how you can shift that
in a beautiful way, in a beautiful, loving way. Yes, you can't really escape it. You got to kind of own it.
Where are you not supporting yourself? Hello, there's your lenses. And I love that it's like, well, let's just move that. Like it's not, oh well, there's your shit. Off you go.
See you later.
That we're able to change perspectives, change belief patterns, rewire the way we see things, and up level every chance that we get, because man, the life is better when we get to do that.
I think recently we had a workshop online where we had one beautiful lady who was trying to find her own space in her own house. And after the call, she went around and she organised each little individual part that she needed in her house to be just hers, whether it was an altar and a couple other different places. But by the end of the week, like after the workshop, the change in her space, just feeling into that space, and you could feel the calmness, and it's like, oh, I've got this. That sense of I got this. It was beautiful to see. And it was just as simple, was it an hour conversation? I can't even remember, but it was just, it helped her immensely. And she sent through some photos of her little spaces. But it means the world to us to see those photos and how just these beautiful conversations as we're sitting here can really change someone's life. And it can just, it's like that uplifting, and then it's snowball effect. Like, oh, so I've done this space and I've done this space. What can I do next? Where else am I missing? You know what I mean?
And then that reflectiveness back to the inner spaces within the inner house.
Exactly.
And knowing where I clear in here, I'm clearing.
Yeah.
And then, like, we were talking this morning about the ancestral lines of that as well, knowing that the best way I can help my children is by healing that in myself. And knowing that I've got all this generational support to do that.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why, Rena, I was doing something with the dishes and I'm like, Ness, remember your ancestors. And you're like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'll go back in.
Because I got out in the garden to ground afterwards, and actually it was funny because just before you said that, I was sitting out in there and I had this beautiful energy moving stuff, and I had sounds coming out, and I was doing my sounding and my frequency stuff, and I fully felt like I had all of this. You know how you said about being supported? I had all of this support. I could feel them come and kind of hold and collectively hold me and gather around me. And then just as that was kind of, I was feeling that, and I was like, oh, what's this? You come out and go, Ness, your ancestors. And I was like, that's what it is.
Good.
Yes.
Timing is epic.
Thank you.
Ditch the dishes. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just so much, there's so much joy in this gifting that we have for each other, and this, it brings so much joy even in the gratitude of it, like the amount of gratitude that I have for you guys. I know we all have this when we get together, and the work that we do and how we can assist other people. It's just such a beautiful gift, really. It gives us. It's fun.
Yes. Yeah.
It gets to the point where you start to look forward to the catch-ups because you're just like, oh crap, where are we going to head?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
And we finish these workshops or retreats, and we're all so buzzed. Everybody's buzzed. And it's like, can we just do this like every day?
Yes,
and
like, our life every
and so
day.
if anybody is like a super great marketer and loves it, and it brings you so much joy to market and funnel people through to amazing people like us, so we can just do our shit that we do every day. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Let us know.
Yes.
I'm sure you're out there. Some people just love that stuff. Hey.
Yes, they do. I'm thinking of people as we're having this conversation. I'm like, there are people
that love
we
that
can
stuff.
Contact. They can do this shit. This is possible.
We can work together and we can gather all this beautiful energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have to go on our gorgeous picnic, but thank you so much for being here. Yeah, and we'll put all the links and things and website things underneath, but if you want to say it, shancox.com, is it? What is yours?
Yeah, shancox.com.au.
Yeah.
And
trustyoursoul.com.au. And you'll see mine on the theme, vanessaarana.com, or I've got a new one now, elevateyoufrequency.com, but I'm still developing it, so
work in progress.
It's a work in progress stage, so forgive me for anything that's not working there.
You're a magic woman,
Drew.
Thank you for all the stuff that you do, because it's because of you helping, I guess, a lot of us are in the corners, or we're kind of trying to work out how to find ourselves, to bring ourselves out into the open. And it's just beautiful to have people like yourself that are out there doing the videos, doing the work that you do, and kind of beating the drum for all of it. So, so very much a big thank you.
That's actually thank you, because that's encouragement for me, because I have been very hermiting lately. I haven't done one of these podcasts for a while, and I was determined I was going to do them regularly, but I've also learnt that I have to allow myself my freedom of when I need to go inward, I go inward.
Yes.
No, and I don't have to feel this like
follow
forced,
the path.
I don't want to force anything.
No.
So if I'm doing one of these, it's because I've been called to do it, and it's come about and it's flowing and it's naturally happening, not because I'm trying to force it and schedule it all in. And
no, you need to hermit. You need to hermit. There's quite a few times there I will just hermit and do the same thing, but you need to go inwards. You need that space from.
Well, that's where the work is. Like the work that we do, we cultivate the inner, and the outer reflects the inner. So this is the work.
Yes.
This is the work that we need to do.
Yeah. And we did a beautiful healers weekend that Shan and Fiona did on the equinox recently. And so leading up to that, there was the eclipses, these eclipse portals either side of it. And so every time I go into an eclipse state, weeks before it, weeks after it, I get into these very transitional things. A lot of stuff comes up for me, and I go through so much transition. And during those times, I can't really project out. It's all inner stuff. And I feel like it disintegrates me. I disintegrate in those times. And then I have to reintegrate before I can come back out and do stuff like this. So I've learned to allow those processes to happen now, so trying to force stuff. So, but thank you for saying that, because it does encourage me to continue on.
No, please continue.
Yes,
please
please do.
continue.
Please
Yeah,
do. Shining a light for all of us.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that with you guys too, with all of us in our healers group, and I guess that's what all of us light workers are doing with shining lights, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are light. We are the light.
The lighthouses.
Anchoring the light. So thank you so much for joining us. Pull links below, and we'll see you in the next one of the Quantum Frequency Initiative. Much love, infinite love. Look after you. Bye. Thank you. And now we go over here and realise I didn't press record. Just kidding.